Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Kirby Ferris Show. Um, I'm Kirby. I'm joined by brother from another mother, Sam. Sam,
Hello.
thank you for joining.
Thought you forgot my name there for a second. It's been a while.
I
She had
mean,
to
it still
think.
hasn't been that long.
My mom was asking. She's like, "Have you recorded another podcast?" I'm like, "Well, what's the last one you listened to?" I'm like, "I guess
Is
not."
Deanne still listening?
Yeah, she asked.
That's Deanne. That means a lot. That means a lot to me. Uh, yeah, it's been hectic. The obviously we got the holidays in there. How's your break?
My break was pretty chill. Went. Parents live like an hour away, so went there for a few days, and then came back and just chilled back in Raleigh. Took my cat Tilly home with me, and she didn't have a fun time with the other cat that my sister brought. uh, but Tilly managed. She survived.
Yeah, I mean, bringing pets home. We brought Gigi home on a plane, and she's the most like anxious dog I've ever seen.
Oh,
But like, not like anxious, like but more like she is super aware of everything that's going on.
oh yeah.
And is like, "What's that? I don't like that."
And on a plane, that's like
Yeah,
10 times.
everything. She's like, "I don't like that." Um, but we went skiing, so we left her with my dad. And at first, my dad was like, "Yeah, I don't know about this," because he is my sister's dog. Stays with him from time to time, and he's a big
Mhm.
Ava fan. So he's like, "No way am I gonna let another dog into my? Nothing can beat Ava." And I was
There's a
like, "All
hierarchy.
right, fair, whatever." Um, I just need you to watch the dog. And I come back and he's like, "You don't need to take her home with you. I loved her so much." And I'm like, "Okay, well, again, thank you for watching the dog, but like it's time to go." But it was really nice to just have like stop in, drop the dog off, watch some football. There was so much football. I feel like it was every day.
Yeah, Christmas, it was, or the week of Christmas, like it was every day except for like Tuesday, I think.
And then there was college because of the college playoffs. There's so many games. Honestly, I feel like I missed a few. I was like, I can't watch. I feel bad, but like also, I kind of don't care about Boise State. Like, I'm not worried about that. But I did. This was very exciting when we went to watch. I think it was Penn State versus what was one of that early game.
Penn State versus SMU.
Yeah, that was exactly it. I went to this weird bar that I'd never been to, and let's see, I left Baton Rouge when I was 18, so like I wasn't in the. I thought like I was so worried about underage drinking in the sense that like it was illegal. Um, no morals, just like oh, breaking the law seems
The
so scary.
law.
So I never went to any bars, and now I'm like, coming home from I'm not like coming home for the holidays vibe. I'm gonna go
Big
to
city
the
girl.
new local pop up bar, and I show up, and it's fucking freezing, and it's outside. Most of it's outside, and there's three
Gosh.
TVs, right?
No.
And only one of them is showing the game, and the other two are just have the Roku screen up of like the cityscape.
Roku City.
Yes, and there's only like four people watching this game. I'm like, guys, like I get it. Like it is just like Penn State SMU, like
Yeah.
whatever. But like, really? We're all crowded around this. But what was most exciting about that, right, and really colored my stay at home was that the local barista was there. And let me
Baristo.
tell you, this dude has been hard to crack my entire life. I have wanted to like say hello, not like say hello, because obviously I see him every time, but like, I want to be that like neighborhood
Get to know
girl who comes in and is like, "Hey, TJ, what's up?" And so finally I was like, went up to him and I was like, "Hey, man," dapped him up and said, "Good to see you." And then we were friends ever
him.
since.
Left your impression.
Yeah, he's not. I was like going the next day, and I was like, "Oh, good to see you last night."
Did you do the thing where you plug the show and you take their phone out and have them follow it on Spotify?
No,
That's a
but I did
classic
do
Kirby
that to a
move.
handful of other people. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Word of mouth is strong.
I mean, you got to. It's so funny because you're just like, I just grab their phone, like before they know it's happening. They're following the Kirby Fair show. TJ, if you're listening, wife that girl up. They've been engaged for a while. Gotta get her. Come on, TJ. There aren't too many girls out there that are,
Hang on.
once you love them, you gotta get them. So, but yeah, football.
Football.
Big time in football. We are at the end of the season, the 2024 regular season. It was a little bit boring there towards the end because everything had kind of wrapped up already except the Bengals.
Yeah.
All the teams that were good stayed good. All the teams that were bad stayed bad. And I'm talking directly about the San Francisco 49ers. They were really bad, and the Saints were really bad. You know what? Sneaky. Carolina Panthers.
Sneaky, like the vibes ended on a good note. They went 5 and whatever, but like you're feeling good. Like as someone who lives in the state of North Carolina, and I'm going in the office and chatting it up with people who are Panthers fans, they're like, yeah, like Bryce is pretty good. I'm like, yeah, I'd be excited too.
Bryce is like, he got benched, like week 4?
It was pretty early on in the season, and like for those who are unaware, it seemed like Bryce was benched for good. Like he was going to be, done, who knows, moved on from, until the backup, who he was replaced by, Andy Dalton, gets in a car crash and injures his throwing, like a
Wait,
thumb.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, no, Andy Dalton got in a car crash, injured his thumb, I believe, and so Bryce is then back into the starting role, and like
that's why.
and that's when he started going crazy. Yeah.
Okay, the fact that the Panthers generally are so irrelevant, and B, that Andy Dalton is so irrelevant that didn't make any like ESPN news on Instagram is like really bad.
I think it's the fact that it's like just like dumb luck that it turned out this way. It's like, oh, of course, like it happened because of Andy Dalton getting in a minor car crash that injured his thumb.
Minor car crash. Yeah, glad you're okay, Andy. But no, he came back. Bryce Young came back and looks like a whole new player.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It felt like a winning season. They kept losing games, but it felt like, kind of like my flag football season.
Yeah. Who cares what the score is? The vibes are there.
Now that we've come to the end of the 2024 season, Sam, I want to get your highlights and lowlights from the past 17 weeks and where you're at, if you want to paint a picture of your experience and I don't know, what you were looking forward to and what didn't happen.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it earlier, like the good teams stayed good and the bad teams stayed bad. So that made for an interesting sort of season. I feel like it played out where you kind of knew who was going to be in by, week 15 or whatever. But I'd say for like highlights of the season is definitely like when I think about like the narratives of what I'll think back to on this season and stuff is I kind of think of like 2 main things. One is the sort of revitalization or whatever you want to call it of like running backs on new teams.
That was mine.
You got like Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs. Like they just all lit it up on new teams. It's got people wondering, is the age of passing over? Is it time to go back to, ground and pound, hard knuckled football now that we got all these too high safeties and stuff? This season kind of makes it seem like, yeah.
Given that there's 32 teams and only 4 teams had good running backs,
there were more than that, but like
game changing.
Yeah.
We're like, your team is, you're going to run it. They should be scared to stop the run. Damn it, that was mine because like going in, right? Like,
well, even like some other running backs that didn't change teams, like the Lions with both Gibbs and Montgomery, that was a pretty scary duo.
James Cook on the Bills.
James Cook tore it up. Trying to think like
Bucky Irving came around on Tampa. Great
Bucky
name.
Irving. He really fits of being a Buck.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
You
That's
haven't
funny.
thought about that? It's wow.
Obviously Bengals didn't have a running game. Chiefs, like, sort
Chase
of.
Brown kind of.
Saints, I feel bad for Alvin Kamara. Like, we love him. He said he's not going to leave. Whatever, dude.
Yeah,
I love you. Stick around. You know, like that's fine. We just picked up Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who won a Super Bowl with
I didn't
the
even know that.
Chiefs. He played at LSU, so we're continuing with the whole thing of we draft good players, they go to Detroit, and then we just get former LSU players out of their prime. Um, so you know, teach your own. But I think going into the season, right, it was like no one was really valuing the running back, and no one was going to get paid. Could you imagine Derrick Henry was up for grabs and no one took him?
Yeah. Like the hard knocks this previous season, like we get to see the Giants front office and owners like debating whether they should keep Saquon Barkley, and then he goes to a division rival and like almost gets the single season rush yards record. Like what a what a just an awful moment to be captured on tape for the rest of your life.
What's the latest? Just on the Saquon thing.
I just got a text that Chicago's driving the price up and Philly's out. I don't know if that's true or not.
I'm gonna have a tough time sleeping if Saquon goes to Philadelphia. I'll tell you that. As I've told you, just being honest. I've been around enough players, so but he's the most popular player we have by far.
Yeah.
That was actually my disappointing moment.
Like the heart and soul
Hard
of your
Knocks.
team.
They
Oh.
go, that guy's voice too was like, I can't imagine. Guys, like, I don't know if I'll be able to sleep at night if he goes to Philadelphia and has a great season. Oh, but one of my highlights also was similarly or directly to the Giants was Daniel Jones choosing his mental health and getting off the Giants and saying, please just release me, and dipping and then going to Minnesota, which seems like a haven for just like quarterbacks who've been shunned. With Kevin O'Connell, and he's gonna like nurse him back to health. He kind of seems like a broken little bird right now. You know, like a hurricane
Yeah.
just came through, and you go find your bird, and you ask mom to keep it.
Meanwhile, the other bird named JJ McCarthy's still there. See, I got a few more highlights.
Yeah, go ahead.
You
Stole
know,
mine.
sorry, I came prepared. I got a text from Kirby saying, "Think of highlights and whatever," and I'm like, "Okay." And then I took a nap and I let the dreams formulate.
Ooh,
But yeah, you might have written this somewhere, but I was going to say sort of the MVP race. How it's kind of come down to Josh and Lamar. Saquon was in it for a little bit because he almost got the record, but they're never going to give it to a running back again. And you wrote Joe snub, which like statistically, Joe Burrow had an amazing season, but
snubbed.
they're never giving it to a team that doesn't make the playoffs. So it's come down to like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And the stats, like if you look at purely the stats, it would probably be Lamar Jackson, but I think, it's like a narrative based decision too, because like it's kind of like the Jokic and Embiid MVPs in the
Yeah.
NBA. It's like, well, Lamar's just 1-2 or whatever. Let's give one to Josh.
You know what pisses me off?
Here we go.
The whole Josh Allen is one of like 3 quarterbacks to do X, X, and X and throw a touchdown, rush for a touchdown, and like catch a touchdown. And that touchdown, that was not a play. That was pure luck on his part.
Yeah.
He gave it to another teammate. The teammate literally flipped out and said, "Oh my God," and threw it to Josh Allen, who was just there. And I will give it to him. He's big enough to go run it in, so like that's great. But like that wasn't a touchdown.
Yeah.
Bo Nix had an amazing. He mossed someone to get a passing touchdown, and Josh Allen just kind of stumbled in and was like,
got a lateral.
Oh, you know what? It would have been great. Like that one play last year, it was less thoughtful than this when Travis Kelce pitched it back to Kadarius Toney, but Kadarius Toney had lined up off sides.
Yeah.
That was peak 2023. Honestly, I think that was my favorite game. Just the Kadarius Toney narrative of having no hands. I think he played a little bit this season, but I'm pretty sure he got cut. So I feel pretty bad for him.
Hey, he's got a ring.
True.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Well, he doesn't have any hands to put it on.
That's true. Very true. At the time of this recording, we don't know the MVP. We might by the next time we record. Just depends on the scheduling. But if you had to pick, who would you choose?
I think I'd have to choose Josh Allen, right?
Yeah, I think I would too.
And it is purely because Lamar has won 2 times.
There's like voter fatigue. Like,
yeah, no, for sure. And the whole like Derrick Henry thing and like, what do we really think, how do we really want to break down what valuable player means, most valuable player?
right. And you know what's also crazy is we have not mentioned Patrick Mahomes once on the 15-1 number one in the AFC
Right.
Chiefs. Like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's not my disappointment. Maybe I'll put the media generally on notice.
Evolution of the Chiefs, where it's like I feel like a few years ago it was like, oh, Patrick Mahomes like bombing it to Tyreek or like Travis Kelsey, and now they're just kind of like, we're winning, and like we only score 20 points, but we're winning, and
But we're winning.
can't do anything. We're
take
winning.
it down to the wire. At least they're like getting like full viewership.
Yeah,
all 3 hours
down
people
the field.
Are tuned in, and it's just like I don't know. It's weird to watch Patrick Mahomes like kind of do bad, but then if you just watch the fourth quarter, you'd be like, wow, he's so good. He just had a baby.
Shout out
Golden Ray.
I'm still chewing on that one. I don't know how I feel about it.
I think I'm against it. Yeah,
I think I'm leaning that way.
And they put in that like loop-de-loop like
cursive
bullshit
script or whatever.
First, your wife is a Trump supporter. Then you're having this like kind of piss poor season. And now you have a child named Golden Ray. Like, I'm worried about you, Patrick. You're on notice too.
And get this, listeners, viewers. We did some investigative journalism before the show too. This is Patrick and Brittany Mahomes' third child.
Yep.
Golden. And if you back it up, the first child was Sterling, Sterling Silver. The second child, bronze. And now they're going golden. Like, hang on, guys. Like, what's the orderings? It's not an order here. I don't know.
Bronze. Bronze is such a weird name.
Not the child, but the name. Like,
oh, yeah. I mean, that first child, she's going to have to grow into it. Just her existence. The second one, I mean, Bronze is a really bad name. I think I'm going to stop putting people on notice. What was your biggest disappointment from the season?
My biggest disappointment? I was thinking about that one. That one was hard to place. I feel like biggest disappointment probably is just the Jets season. Like
that was my shock, actually.
That was a
firing
shock
of Coach Saleh.
Shock and disappointment. Like, maybe I was drinking the Kool-Aid too much before the season, but I thought, Aaron Rodgers coming back, they would be somewhat decent.
Okay.
And now, who knows if Aaron Rodgers is going to play again? They finished with what, 4 or 5 wins?
It just kept getting better, and then it got worse. Like, he brought in Adams, Devontae Adams. You're like, wow, they're going to light it up. And then they didn't. Mike Williams got kicked off the team. Bless his heart.
He got shipped off the team after one bad game.
Robert Saleh's out there. What is he with? Green Bay, right?
Consulting with the Packers, yeah.
He tweeted or had a comment that he's having the best. Like, he's like, this is so good for me. Like, I'm having a great time. Woody Johnson is probably the worst owner.
He's got to be the worst. We haven't heard anything about David Tepper this season, and that's that. Good job, David.
Proud
of the media. Woody, ooh.
And Woody honestly probably eclipsed Jerry Jones. So
on that note, Woody Johnson, did you see the story from a few weeks ago that he's having his sons involved in the front office and stuff, and the sons are making decisions based on a player's Madden rating? Like, Woody was like, I want to sign this guard, and the son was like, well, his awareness level in Madden isn't that high, and so they didn't sign him.
Next time owner is like, yeah, he's a little too into analytics about whether to go on 4th and 1. Like, I need more instinct.
Yeah.
You can say, well, at least you're not going off of Madden ratings like Woody Johnson. Is that it? Yeah, Woody Johnson. I get it. Like, that's an easy... no, I don't get it. No. Because, people complain about Madden all the time. Is it's such a bad game. So...
so the Jets. I'm shocked at how it happened, but in retrospect, should I have been shocked?
No.
Because it's the Jets. Did I steal that from you? Did you have a different biggest disappointment?
It seems like we're on the same page, which makes a lot of sense since we talk all
Yeah,
the time.
it's true.
Um, but I think here's what I'll say. I'll say my biggest disappointment, just like foreshadowing going in the future, is how poorly holdouts worked from this last season.
Interesting. I can't even remember who held out.
Brandon Ayuk injured.
Oh,
He
yep.
held out. That was like a really
That was the
serious
big one.
He finally got his bag. That was great. And then he got injured like week 2. Then we got Dak Prescott. Jerry Jones waited until the last second
CD.
to sign him, injured. What did his like thigh came off the bone or
It was, like, off
something?
the
Like
bone.
something insane like that.
Yeah, no.
And then CeeDee Lamb hurt his shoulder in week 9. So like I don't know. I'm like, is this? I feel like that's probably done for. You know, people will be like, yeah, okay, well, you're gonna get hurt anyways. So, sorry
Yeah.
if you come to fucking practice, because we saw like a lot of those teams not, not starting great because of the holdouts.
Yeah.
I mean, commentators don't have a lot to say. So, when the Bengals show up week 1 and lose to the Patriots, you're sure talking about Jamar Chase missing a little bit of training camp. And then, with the Bengals, there was that, and then T. Higgins got hurt. I guess, like, generally the Bengals season was a disappointment because, just like the Chiefs, they win all these. They lost, I think they're 1-7 in one-possession games. And so you're getting, just like the Chiefs, you're, like, getting to the fourth quarter, you're like, nom, 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 nom. This is going to be great. And then it's not. And then they lose, and you're like, damn. Well, even sometimes they were losing that one game. The Bengals were losing so bad to the Chargers that I went to sleep. And then I woke up the other day, and they lost by, like, 1 point. I'm like, Joe Burrow is such a fucking dog.
Joe, like, leading the league and, like, passing touchdowns and yards, and, like, defense for the Bengals just could not keep up.
I mean, easily, like, the sexiest player in the NFL. He shows up with that bleach blonde hair. Everyone's judging him. He grew. This is what I was like, yes, chef. He grew it out, and he didn't cut off the white, like, the frosted tips. So he just had frosted tips during the best season of his entire career, and is, like, basically Batman and then Superman all in the same week. Like, remember that one pass he threw where he was, like, an inch off the ground?
Yeah.
That was crazy. Yeah. And he bought a Batmobile. Oh my God. And how Joe Burrow, highlight. And then we're going to go to break. I mean, low light. Sorry about this, buddy. But his house got broken into when they were playing Dallas. And then his girlfriend's mom called the cops and was like, my daughter's at the house. And then everyone was like, who's that? And it turns out Joe Burrow has a little model girlfriend who is quite young, but that's okay. But sad, he had like a really long time girlfriend, and they're rumored to get engaged as of like September. And now there's a new girl in Joe Burrow's house as it gets broken into.
Yeah, I didn't realize the break-in resulted in a girlfriend reveal.
Yep. That was like the whole thing.
That's kind of crazy.
Do you not remember him going, my privacy has been breached?
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't realize it was girlfriend reveal. I thought it was like the privacy of my home. But yeah, I have some others I can rapid fire real quick.
Go ahead.
I'd say another shock for me was just how the Vikings turned out. Like, nobody was expecting this. JJ McCarthy was, they're supposed to be sort of in a rebuild. He goes down before the season, and then Sam Darnold takes him to 14-3, and they're unfortunately, based on how the playoffs work, they're the 5 seed because the Lions beat them.
Sorry about it.
Another disappointment just for me personally is the last 3 Packers games of the season, including wildcard weekend. And I'd say, like, finally another like highlight I think that we'll look back on specifically from this season is like just like all the rookies this year. Like I have the Wikipedia page pulled off. Caleb Williams, he started looking good. Jaden Daniels, we'll get to this, but he just won a playoff game. He's been lighting it up, probably offensive rookie of the year.
Definitely.
Drake May looked pretty good.
Drake May pulled it out. Like he
dysfunctional team, but he looked good.
Right?
Marvin Harrison Jr. I think kind of had a disappointing season based on the.
Oh my God! I completely forgot about him.
Yeah. Let's see who else. Malik Neighbors, insane season. Shout out LSU.
NFLSU. There's no
FLSU. I like that.
hand sign.
Michael Penix Jr. He came in.
That was a
replaced
shock
Kirk.
that they benched Kirk Cousins after paying him $85 million.
And Penix looked good.
He looked fine.
Yeah, I mean, they almost got to the playoffs.
Oh my God, that game though between him and Bryce, I was like, are we gonna get this every single year?
Yeah,
that went down to the wire. The Panthers won, right?
Yeah.
That was a killer game.
It's
Sorry.
like overtime. Bo Nix at the time seemed crazy, but Bo Nix like kind of made a run at, being offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
I feel like Brock Bowers is like setting like tight end records, not rookie, but like tight end. Yeah, Ladd. He's like, I'm just reading the first round pick. Ladd was like a second round pick. Looked great.
Okay. Well, here's where I'm at with these rookies.
With the rookies,
really in on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
And I made a mental note. I will not do that again.
Here's a little fantasy advice from someone who's done it for, I don't know, a couple of years. The rookie wide receivers, you can't play them in the beginning of the season. You gotta let them cook a little bit, get acclimated, and then there's just like a certain point where all of a sudden it's like, Brian Thomas Jr., like, Ladd McConkey,
Keon Coleman,
Malik Neighbors, like,
I had to bench
Marvin
him.
Harrison. It's like, man, I've spent a third round pick on this guy.
Yeah, no, it was all a mess. And then so I lost so many in the first like 10 weeks, and then I was fucking cooking towards the end, but it didn't matter. I was the Bengals. I was already eliminated.
You're the Bengals. Hey, there's next season.
I'm ride or dying with the Bengals. That's for damn sure. Because Joe Burrow, out of nowhere, he has 30 points.
Yeah, no, like he was. And good.
I had T. Higgins, but T. Higgins was hurt. I could have won this year. I really could have won this year. But that's what it's like being a GM.
Being a GM. It ain't for everybody. Probably shouldn't be for Jerry Jones anymore, but hey.
He's not giving it up. He bought that team for himself. He said, "No, I'm not giving this to my kids. I bought this for myself." I'm like, "Sure, you're right." That's like me getting a jacket, and then every single time Caroline's like, "Can I wear it?" And I'm like, "I didn't buy this for you, but yeah, that's okay. Sure, you can wear it." Shout
out the jackets.
I guess I still have this one. This one I still own. She doesn't co-opted this one, but she is wearing my leather jacket today.
Audio listeners, I'm wearing a Carolina sweatshirt.
It's a good one.
It's nice really and big thick and comfy. Yeah.
This ad is not for children. Get hype this season with Celsius, the essential energy drink that just won't quit. Celsius is the only way to go during the Raiders-Commanders game, where taking a shot every time there's a 3-and-out isn't going to work anymore. Whether you're feeling the 3 p.m. slump, about to work out, or need to get that electric feeling back before the afternoon slate of games, get energized by giving Celsius a try. Again, not for children.
I have something for you.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay.
Finish it, Sam.
I might swerve in that corner.
Whoa.
Even though you knew what I was doing, that was still so funny. You're like Chuck who goes, whoa. And it's like, that's not the beat. It's whoa.
Jello, what can I say? Jello, he's beyond my comprehension.
No, he's not. He's just not. He's Jello Ball. He's LiAngelo Ball. He's the middle brother, just like Bronze, who just didn't make it.
Maybe that's what the Mahomes did. They're like, yo, look at LaMelo Ball. He's the one who's going to be the gold of the Ball brothers.
No, absolutely. The youngest one is the best. Sorry about it. So, yeah, I mean, my name is basically Kirby Gold Ferris.
Kirby Gold Ferris.
Premium gas. I'm 93% or above. That's what they call me. I'm an A.
93 and above.
I didn't understand that a 4.0, an A minus wasn't a 4.0 until like senior year of high school. And then they're like, "Oh, you like aren't that great." And I was like, I don't know
Well,
about that, but whatever you say, I still like my A minuses.
you know what? There's still some teams that are great that are chasing the silver of the Lombardi Trophy. Not
Show you
gold.
right. It's not Bo
We
Nix.
It's not Bo Nix. We have just come through the wild card weekend. We got another game happening just as we're recording, but we have played, I guess, 5 games so far.
Yeah.
And how about we just run through these in chronological order? I think.
Can I say something first?
Yep, go for it.
The NFL dropped Super Wildcard Weekend, and I don't know why, but I think that's worth noting.
You know,
That's fucked up. Why would you add Super and then drop it?
I'm glad they dropped it. Super wildcard weekend. I don't know. It's too many words. I think wildcard weekend. That's a tight 3 words.
That is
2 words.
such a bad take.
No, people hated Super Wildcard Weekend.
But it's anyways. Okay.
Anyway, so yeah.
Do you want to start with your loss?
No, we're going chronological order. The Texans beat the Chargers 32-12. Just a horrendous game from the Chargers and Justin Herbert.
Like I say, I'm so glad my dad stopped being a Justin Herbert fan, so I don't have to hear him talking about fucking Justin Herbert and how good he is. Because I'm a Justin Herbert hater.
Wow.
Well, I wouldn't say I hate him, but I'm not a Justin Herbert believer. And I will, like I said about Joe Burrow's hair, fire hair. Justin Herbert does not have fire hair.
Is the hate coming from he was in the same draft class as Joe Burrow kind of rivalry?
No, I think it's that everyone's like, oh, Justin Herbert's so good. He's like a top 10 quarterback. And it's like, what has Justin Herbert done for you recently?
Well, have you seen he's the if quarterback? Have you seen those memes online? It's like, if Justin Herbert played for the Texans, they'd be the 1 seed. Or it's like, if Justin Herbert had this defense, he'd be.
If Justin Herbert had a better coach, if Justin Herbert, blah, 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 blah.
That's like what it is.
It's like, shut up. Like, Justin Herbert's just like on Pumpkin Watch.
He's on Pumpkin Watch. It was the first season with Jim Harbaugh. I don't think they were really supposed to be here yet, but they were. So we'll see. Give it another year. Who knows?
Once they lost to the Jags, what was it, like 34-0 at half? Something egregious, and they lost that
Trevor
game?
Lawrence threw like 5 interceptions in that game and still won it or something.
Oh, they're like, Justin Herbert only threw 3 interceptions all season long, but he threw like 3 last night? Sorry, it's postseason that matters, and that's why we're all bummed Joe Burrow didn't make it in. This is all going to loop back to Joe.
Well, Joe wouldn't have replaced the Chargers anyway. So that's that. Congrats, Texans. Now they get to play the Chiefs next Saturday at 4:30.
Hell yeah. At Arrowhead.
At Arrowhead, maybe
I'm sure Taylor will be there.
Maybe Texans will get a little, little spark and give a challenge. I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe.
Well, you never know. It'll come down to the last second.
Let's see. The next game that happened was Saturday night. That was the Steelers at the Ravens. Ravens just kind of in control the whole time, I think. Russ,
Russ had some pretty moon balls.
He
had 2 where they scored, and I was like, maybe? Did I text you that? I was like, maybe? And then I was like, no.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe?
There was you said something where it's like, I hate to say it, but I think I'm in on the Steelers. And then like after like the next day, you're like, I shouldn't have been in on it. I'm like, you said you hate to say it. Like
I was right about the Steelers though. The Steelers were good.
You had crystal ball.
Beginning of the year, I said the Steelers were going to be sneaky good. Guess who made the playoffs? The Steelers.
The Ravens have maybe an MVP in Lamar Jackson and an insane running back, Derrick Henry. It's hard to beat them. So they are playing on Sunday at
against
6:30.
The Bills.
The Bills played the Broncos.
Can you even say played?
Sunday.
They fucking wiped them out.
Well, I thought I tuned in. I was like, whoa, like Bo Nix, he's throwing it downfield. The Broncos scored a touchdown on the opening drive.
Was the last time?
They didn't score again. It's like the Bills just in control the whole time. If anything, this is probably the game I'm most excited to watch in the divisional round. Bills and Ravens, the quarterback that wins that is going to be feeling so good, and the quarterback that loses that is going to be getting clowned on social media. So
It's kind of like LSU and Iowa meeting up in the Elite Eight last year. It's like, why are they gone so soon? You
Yep.
know, like, come on, you can't pair them up
That's
second
true.
round
Yeah,
of the
that's true.
playoffs.
It's like, oh, this is a divisional round.
The two
Oh,
MVPs, one of them will be gone that early on. Come on. Says how much the fucking NFC sucks.
whoa.
I know. I'm forever mad about it. The Rams should have never gone to the Super Bowl. That was past interference.
Yeah.
100%. Check it. Check the tape. What was it, 2018?
Check the tape.
I'll never trust the refs after that. The NFC cursed yourself. Sorry.
NFC cursed. Speaking of cursed NFC games, we're going to the Packers at the Eagles.
Womp,
Oh,
womp.
man. Womp, womp, indeed. Packers opening kickoff, fumble the ball, and Eagles, it's like one Saquon run and a pass, and they get a touchdown. It's like, well, that's not fun. So the Eagles beat the Packers 22-10.
It was
Surprisingly,
bad.
Packers defense kind of kept them in it until the very end. Offense couldn't do anything except for like one good Josh Jacobs run that resulted in a touchdown.
It was only 10-0 at half. I almost texted you, and then I was like, man, this bed is not coming together. I can't get
bed.
This bed is
Let's save the bed talk.
Not working. No, you want to save the bed talk for later, Sam?
Kirby, my mom listens to this
Yes,
show.
sir.
The Commanders beat the Buccaneers 23-20. Jaden Daniels, my God, he looks good.
I was locked in.
So
he looks so good. He's stiff-armed. This one dude, it was like 2 minutes left, maybe 1:30 left in the fourth quarter. They really need a first down to ice this game, and should have been like a 7-yard loss with this big 94 barreling down. And Jaden Daniels stiff arms him, says goodbye.
Crazy.
And then runs for he only got it was like 3rd and 3 and he got it.
Enough for the first, yeah.
It was crazy. So, Sam, I think that really proves you can be a skinny dude and still be an excellent player.
Yeah.
If white men can jump, so can they list him as 210 online. Jaden Daniels. He is not even soaking wet 210.
That's like, remember, speaking of Bryce Young at the combine with his height, the whole thing where it's like, okay, this guy is 5'10", sure, whatever you say, because his big thing was the height.
That's like my driver's license will never not say 125.
I don't even think, I don't think North Carolina does weight on the driver's license. I'd have to check on that. I don't remember.
Louisiana, beyond maybe one step above Mississippi and Alabama, we're the last people that should be putting weight on our driver's license. Let's be honest.
Shout out Louisiana hosting Super Bowl LIX, Super Bowl Licks, as I've been thinking of it in my mind.
Yeah. Also sad prayers to all the people that, were harmed and affected by the horrible attack on Bourbon Street. One of Episcopal alum who just graduated was killed. So that was very, very sad. But the NFL, they said, don't worry, guys. We got it in hand. The Super Bowl is still going to be lit. And this is the next day. So that kind of pissed me off about the NFL. I was like, guys, it's not all about the Super Bowl. There are so many people who died and are hurt and whatever. But, as long as the Super Bowl can still go on, we're going to make Bourbon Street safe, guys. Don't worry.
When the NCAA, looks better than you, you're in a bad spot because they postponed whatever bowl game was supposed to happen.
Georgia.
And Notre Dame or something. Thinking about everyone affected there. Also thinking about praying for the people in Los Angeles. Because, this last wild card game was supposed to be happening in LA. It's the Vikings at the Rams. Instead, it's happening in Arizona. I think from what I've been reading, the fires are kind of contained now, but still devastating impact on them.
I feel like every single year. Have you noticed that it's kind of fucked up, Fox and everything? The number of times this year they've been and donate to the Red Cross for all the people affected in XYZ. And it's Aren't you guys like maybe we should go to like the root? Let's make this a bigger discussion because maybe there shouldn't be like 3 to 4 devastating events that happen in just a fucking NFL season that we need to donate. But as long as the Tampa Bay can go play somewhere else, then we're all good. We're all good, says the NFL. But
We're all
donate.
good.
But anyways, can I please?
Of course.
The Eagles beat the Packers. So sorry about it.
Sucks.
But one of probably the best things that has ever come out of football occurred last night. And that was AJ Brown, who had recently said, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, that the passing game for the Eagles sucked. And so everyone was like, dude, what? That's
Trouble
like such a knock on, and then
your QB.
Yeah, when you're QB, and then it's like Saquon's there, so it's like, I guess like you're a little jealous, but who cares? He's still blocking though. If you've got your wide receiver blocking, he only had 1 reception for 10 yards last night on 3 targets, but was blocking.
To be fair, he should have had a touchdown on a fake brotherly shove.
True.
But the ball was overthrown and out of reach for him.
Look, and that's why the passing game needs work.
That's why the passing games work. But you know what? When you're feeling frustrated, angry at people, what's something you can do, Kirby?
I can start a book club, a national book club. Because AJ Brown was caught, again, reading Inner Excellence by Jim Murphy. He says after the game, he was literally reading a book. This book on the sideline. He says,
it's like pictures of clouds on the front.
It's insane. He said, it had nothing to do with my frustration. That's just how I refocus and lock in, despite what may transpire in the game, good or bad. And he says he always goes back to page 2. And if you look at this thing, it is highlighted, underlined. This book is worn. So he's not lying. It really reminded me of when I was in high school, or maybe it was college, and we were supposed to do a reading. And, I didn't do the reading, but right before I just highlighted and crumpled the piece of paper a good bit.
Made it look like you.
So if they were walking around, they'd be like, oh, she did take notes.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. On the fucking sideline, reading a book is crazy. But AJ Brown did it.
Yeah, apparently he's been doing it the whole season, I guess.
Could you imagine Coach Sirianni walking into that? AJ Brown just dropped a game-tying touchdown, and he goes over and starts reading his book, and Sirianni shows up and is like, I haven't read a fucking book in 7 years because of this job, and you're over here. I think last night, AJ Brown read more than I did last year. So, good for him. Shout out Jim Murphy, too. The book Inner Excellence is now a top seller today.
I saw that, yeah.
And Jim goes, yeah, it was a really interesting delight to wake up to. I'm like, Jim, Jim was not watching football. Jim is only out there writing inspiration.
NFL? He's like, I'm achieving nirvana and summiting Mount Everest this
I was
season.
about to say Jim is maybe this dude is from England, because that'd be funny. But the name Jim Murphy, that man is American.
That's so American.
He's from the Midwest. But yeah, so Eagles and AJ Brown and Jim Murphy had a big dub last night. And they're going to move on to play
whoever wins tonight, either the Rams or the Vikings.
Somehow the Rams made it back. Remember at the beginning of the season, they were talking about trading Cooper Kupp, but you got Matthew Stafford. So everyone believes you have Matthew Stafford, so it's going to be fine. And it's I guess, if I had Drew Brees, I'd be saying the same thing. But, Drew Brees threw for more yards per game with a broken arm, a bum shoulder, and 3 kids. Whoa. 4 kids than Aaron Rodgers did this entire season. So
can't bring the kids into this.
If you're saying anything, who's the best quarterback? Easily, hands down, it's Joe Burrow, and then it's Drew Brees. What can you say? It's been a tough season. I think there could have been a little bit, definitely the Chiefs for me. I feel like I had to defend the Chiefs the entire season. And I had to also defend...
Which is crazy. They're 15-1. Why do they need to be defended?
Everyone's they're so bad. And it's but they're winning.
Yeah.
It's
They win
kind of
games.
like, it reminds me of people saying Angel Reese is bad, even though she like has a double-double every game because like she misses her like own rebounds, and then she
Yeah.
has to like, she gets her own rebounds like 3 times and then scores, and it's like, you try to walk in there. There are plenty of other WNBA players that do not get the rebound first
Missing
and then
their
don't get the
shots.
second one and then don't get the third. So
Yeah.
like, if the Chiefs are winning, the Chiefs are winning.
They win.
They win.
They know how to win. Yeah. Speaking of winning, do you wanna do any predictions for the rest of the playoffs? We could do divisional round, or we could just go straight to Super Bowl winners.
Let's do the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, me personally, I'm hate watching the NFC. I don't want any of these
Yep.
teams to win except for the Commanders.
Yep.
Unfortunately, as much as my heart wants them to make it, I don't think they are. So I'm gonna say the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl, and then on the AFC side,
It's gonna be the Chiefs.
I'm gonna say the Bills. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Bills over Eagles.
That
That's
would
my
be
prediction.
a boring game.
I think
I
way
think the
more
Eagles are the
exciting
most
than
boring
Chiefs
team in
and
the
Eagles.
NFL, and that's my bad take.
Well, I'm admitting I'm very biased, and I'm hate watching the NFC and the line. If the Commanders beat the Lions next week, I am celebrating. I'm running down the streets of Raleigh where no one is a Commanders fan, but I'm celebrating hard.
I'm a Lions fan, but I
I'm
don't
not.
think they can pull it off.
They're very injured.
Too banged up.
I want to see what they look like without their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator next year.
One of them is going to the Saints for sure.
One of them is that what you said, or neither?
Mhm.
One of them? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling.
I've been seeing a lot of the defensive coordinator. What's his name? Aaron Glenn? Is that his
Glenn,
name?
yeah, great. Another defensive coach. Come on down.
Oh man.
We have like the oldest defense in the league right now. So why don't you come on down and see if you can fix it? All right. But yeah, so
yes.
who's your Super Bowl?
I'm picking the Bills. I'm all in on
Bills
Josh
versus
Allen.
Eagles. I think I'm going to do throwback to 2022. Chiefs win over the Eagles as well.
Oh, that'd be way more boring than my prediction.
Would it?
It would be.
Because the Chiefs would win.
Yeah,
and we'd have
like
a three-peat. I'm really rooting for the three-peat.
2 years ago, we saw this.
It was a boring game, but that was my first Super Bowl party, and it was excellent.
Yeah.
Last year's was fun
that
too.
boring. I just think it's like the same team winning is boring to me, unless it's my team. But when it's not my team, I'd rather
Chiefs
have
are my
variety.
team. So
Chiefs are your team.
Chiefs are my team. Sorry about it.
Sorry, Kirby's teams are the 2 1 seeds in both divisions or both.
And that's not my
conferences.
fault. That's not my fault. I've been a long time. I was an early Chiefs bandwagon fan. Like
She got
5
in.
years ago, I was a Chiefs fan.
Okay, that's fair. Lions,
And
you gotta
Lions
drop that.
underdog 100% all the way.
Not the underdog anymore.
It's just random. Like, that's not my fault either. Like, somehow the
The
Lions are
Vikings could have
good.
won. Yeah,
That's amazing for me.
the Lions could be playing tonight if the Vikings put it together a week ago.
Yeah, the Vikings. I could see the Vikings making it, and then we have a Rams Patriot situation, and they just get absolutely embarrassed.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Or
Oh, the
Patriots.
Super Bowl. I see what you mean.
Patriots Atlanta would be more embarrassing.
A comeback.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the Chiefs have gone into half with the lead in like most of their games. So they could overcome. Patrick Mahomes, sorry, Dad. He only needs 13 seconds, buddy.
It's third.
And with that, I want to end with shouting out the women's basketball a little bit. Unrivaled is the new league started by some WNBA players that will start January 17th and will run through March 17th. It's going to be a little 3x3 format, which you might have seen in the Olympics. I think it's going to be fun. There's a lot of... Caitlin Clark said no. I think she's probably working on that 3. But Angel Reese is playing. Kate Martin is playing. Basically all the aces except Asia Wilson for some reason. I think it's going to be pretty fun. 3x3 is a completely different game, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
It's
Have to
all
check it
streaming
out.
on HBO or TNT.
Interesting. I did not know that, but that is good to know.
You're welcome. That's your PSA is go watch some more women's basketball.
PSA. Shout out the women Tar Heels took down Duke in overtime. Love to see it.
Oh, and LSU is undefeated. So
shout out.
I mean, I guess I have that going for me.
Yeah, March is rapidly approaching.
Don't remind me.
We're about to get some madness up in here.
We are. Yeah, again, to all the people that have been affected by the fires, stay safe. Our prayers are with you. And go Chiefs. Sam?
Nope, go Bills.
Go Bills!
Yeah.
Golly, Hayden's going to be way too happy.
I'm a hate watcher.
Follow us. Yeah.
At Ald Sam on Instagram.
Exactly. I took the out of the Kirby Fair Show, so now it is just at Kirby Fair Show. You know, we're also on YouTube. If you're listening, go all the way back and watch this again, because so you can see my great Knicks hat and Sam's great sweatshirt and cute face and burgeoning beard he has over there.
And my burgeoning beard. Yeah.
Shout out. Deanne, go check out your little boy.
Deanne's not going to like that.
I bet she likes it more than when you dyed your hair blonde. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But then Joe did it, so you're an icon.
Maybe Joe and I we are on the same wavelength.
On the same page, easily. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Sam, for entertaining me once again. And goodbye.
Goodbye.